My friends, so officially welcome to the Clean Comedy Contest finale. This is very exciting. We're gonna jump right into it. Oh, we have 12 people watching today, so this seems like a good core group. So a lot of you may already know the rules. You already may know how this plays out, but I will go over it anyway. This month's theme was embarrassment. This month's theme was embarrassment. And what I'm actually going to do is I will put a link to where you can join next month's contest. Just for those of you that are interested in trying it out or interested in just learning more about the contest, I will go ahead and put the link in the live chat. See if that link works. It did not because I did not put whatever. What is the HTTPS? And if anything, click the link just to see the cool landing page. There's a new cool Clean Comedy Contest landing page. So even if you don't want to join, I would say just click on that just to see how each month you see the contest getting better and better. You're seeing more being put into the contest. So I'm very excited for the potential of this contest and just how many comics it's already helping and the possibility of how many more that it can help as well. And you know what I just thought would be cool? See how there's a pillow back there? Wouldn't that be cool if that was a hot breath pillow? See that pillow right there? That'd be cool if it was a hot breath pillow. That just popped into my head. I have a hot breath mug back there, which you can purchase online. But a hot breath pillow would be very cool as well. But that is enough attention deficit for today, my friends. Let's go ahead and get into the live contest. And anything I say or do is not to be held against me because I have a new baby. I wonder how long can you use the baby as an excuse? How long is it good for? She's about to turn 4 months, and I've really been leaning heavy on just using the baby as any excuse possible. You know, I'm sorry, officer, I was speeding because I have a 4-month-old at home, and you know how it is. Oh. Forever, says Scott. That is good to know. Okay, and some of you are looking like, oh, wow, this intro is taking forever. Hilarious. Bob said till they're 30 years old. Scott said mine's 11 and I'm still using her as an excuse. Still working for me after 28 years, says Ed. Oh, perfect. Good to know, because I'm leaning in heavy on this. And this may be my favorite comment from Scott's wife. The Shanahan wife is here 22 years yesterday, and if he doesn't win today, we won't make it 23. Ooh. That is hilarious. Sounds like something my wife would say. Hilarious. Well, good to know. No pressure. Scott has actually been in the finals every month this year. So today could be the day. We shall see. Carl D said, I have 4 kids and it seems like 6 months is about the longest you can legitimately use them as an excuse. Cool. So Carl is the only one with morals in the community today, I see. He's the only one that's like, 6 months is enough. Everyone else is like, until you die, basically. Like, even on your funeral, you can still blame them for why the accommodations aren't as nice. Or why they put you in a Pyrex coffin instead of an oak coffin. Oh, they didn't want to splurge for the roses, so we just got some pansies and sprinkled them around for the funeral flowers. Anyway, let's get into it. I did post some beautiful photos of an arrangement my wife made from roses in our garden. Y'all, the roses in our garden are just to die for right now. Look at this. Isn't that incredible? That's on my Instagram story. Look at these roses. It is just heavens to Betsy. I love it. I love it. But anyway, let's officially get into it, shall we? I appreciate all of y'all for hanging out on your valuable time on this Sunday afternoon, for sure. I greatly appreciate it. Genuine. So let's get into it. Ed said they blame us for their problems their whole lives, so it only seems fair. That sounds like a bit. That's a pretty funny premise right there, actually. Bob Kirk said his kids will put him in cardboard. Yeah. Well, who knows, with global warming, we may all go up in flames. Anyway, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get into it. This feels like one of those old school live streams I used to do during COVID where it was just one long mental breakdown. All right, let's get into it because I legit do have to get back at 1. So let's get into it, my friends. Okay, let's be good, Joel. Let's be good. Let's be good. Focus. So how this is gonna work is we're gonna play all 3 sets, and then at the end you are going to vote for who wins the April Clean Comedy Contest, and then the winner will join us live on the air for an interview, and they also win $100. So they also win $100. So nothing to scoff at here. A lot of good things happening right now. So how it's gonna work is I will play. Let me see what order I had them in, because I do have it loaded. We're gonna play Scott's first, Doug, and then Jack. And I hope Doug seemed to be a little technologically, we'll see. Is Doug here? I hope Doug found the live stream. Otherwise, we may need to call him on his landline and see if we can fax over his set. These are jokes. People are going to comment, oh, Joel's an ageist. He fell off. He had that kid and fell off. Anyway, so we're going to play Scott's set, Doug's set, and then Jack's set. Those are the top 3 finalists: Scott Shanahan, Doug Maccabee, and Jack Allen. And this month's theme was embarrassment. And each month has a different theme, all to help spark personal material. That's the whole goal of the contest, is not only to help comics write clean jokes, but also write clean jokes in their voice. So writing from an emotional place like embarrassment is the best place to spark those unique stories that are in your unique voice and comedic point of view. And these top 3 finalists certainly have that going on. And the criteria that we are reviewing these 3 sets on, and I know judging may sound judgy. Let's say reviewing the sets. 1, how on theme is it? You know, how do they use the theme of embarrassment? Is it on the theme of embarrassment? Number 2, how unique is this set to this comic? Like I said, a big challenge of this contest is to inspire comics to write material that's unique to them, that expresses their unique point of view or their unique life experiences. The whole goal as a comedian is you want to be writing jokes that only you can tell. It's always valuable to put your jokes through a filter of, if somebody stole this joke, would it be just as funny? So writing from your unique point of view, your unique life, your unique sense of humor will help to put it through that check of, could someone steal this and it'd be just as funny? So how on theme is the set? How unique is this set to this specific comic? And then number 3, how funny is it? How many laughs are in this set? How many laughs is this comic getting in 60 seconds, which is no joke. These comics had 2 weeks to write a brand new 60-second set. And now you get to watch the top 3 finalists of the 32 that competed this month. And if you'd like to compete in next month's contest, I did pin the link in the live chat. You'll see it says join next month's contest here, and you can just click there and register to save your spot for next month's contest. Oh, this is great. DBC Network said Pete Holmes. Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. So, are y'all officially ready to start the April Clean Comedy Contest? Let me know in the chat if you are officially ready to start. You could say, yeah. You could put an emoji. You could just put an exclamation mark and don't type anything. Yay! Mark Berryman's ready. Ed Rubin's ready. Bob Kirk. Aaron Palmer. Scott Shanahan said, let's rate till tomorrow. At this rate, we might. Joan Fuchsman is ready. Yay! Jack Allen says, all the best chaps. Wai Rao or Wei Rao. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, my friend. But they are ready. Yay! This is so exciting. This is going to be so much fun. I'm excited for y'all to see those. So we're going to go Scott Shanahan, Doug Maccabee, and Jack Allen. Please forgive me for any technical difficulties, or if the volume isn't loud, I may pause it and replay it, or I may just know we're all trying our best here as we play these sets. So, first up, Wei Rao. Thank you for that correction, Wei. Appreciate you, buddy. So, without further ado, as we do here, Oh, there we go. As we do here.
Let's get ready to rumble!
First up, we have Scott Shanahan.
My daughter's at that age where she gets embarrassed by me when I exist. She told me it embarrasses her that I flirt with her teacher all the time. She's homeschooled. She told me my clothes embarrass her. She wears the same hoodie every day. That's like if Keith Richards told you need to get sober, or Taylor Swift told you need to chill out on the relationships. She told me she gets embarrassed by the way I talk. Then she said, Skibbity Riz, Ohio. I don't even know what that means. One time I embarrassed her by calling her sweetie in front of her friends. She calls me bruh. She told me that she gets embarrassed by the fact that I joke around all the time. I told her, these jokes put food on the table. My wife said, that's the funniest joke you ever told. My wife gets embarrassed by me too, but when we show up at somebody's house and they say, make yourself at home, my pants are coming off. She told me that it embarrasses her that I talk so much during church. I'm the preacher.
All right. There it is, my friends. Scott Shanahan, your first contestant of the April Clean Comedy Contest. Show him some love in the live chat. Show him some love for that awesome set. Well done there, Scott. Way to kick us off strong there. Beautiful. Ed Rubin said, great set, Scott. Love the pants coming off. Oh, do you, Ed?
Ooh!
Do you, Ed?
Ooh!
Beautiful. Love all the positivity in here. Aaron Palmer says, nice. Jack Allen liked the pants coming off as well. Sandy liked the Keith Richards and Taylor Swift analogy. Arriba, dude. Congrats, Scott. Counted over 10 punchlines. Hashtag goals. Yeah, he packed the punchlines in. That is the name of the game on this contest, my friends. There's a reason Scott has been a finalist every month this year. You know, it's because of the amount of jokes going on in there. Mark Berryman, applause emojis. Joan Fuchsman, love the opening. Really good one, Scott. Bob Kirk, good job, Scott. Love it. Oh, don't be embarrassed, Ed, you silly goose. You silly goose. So, that is your first contestant. We have 2 more, my friends. 2 more. So, take notes. Keep in mind what you liked about Scott's set, what stood out, maybe what didn't stand out. Just keep notes as we're grading and reviewing each of these sets to then vote live for the winner. So, oh, Adam Vale, very nice. He liked the homeschool joke. Scott said his daughter did not love it. That's funny. You'll have to kick her out of school. All right, let's keep it moving here. Oh, and Way said Scott doesn't disappoint. Yes, very good set, Scott. And of course, a fellow competitor, Jack Allen, said, well done. Great set, man. Love it. All right, so we have 2 more contestants before we do the live voting and bring the winner live on the air. So we just saw Scott Shanahan. Up next is going to be Doug Maccabee, my friends. So prepare yourselves for a first-time finalist, I think. First-time contestant as well, which is very exciting. Give it up. Once I find the sound effect. There we go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for Mr. Doug Maccabee.
I don't get embarrassed easily, but my wife sure does. Go out to get the morning paper in your underwear 7 or 8 times, and she gets red as a beet. You know, I blame the neighbors. We have to save money, you know, like all of us do, but I get no credit for auctioning off our used clothes in the church parking lot. But honey, you know you've outgrown these. No credit at all. Then at the church picnic, we were square dancing. It was a lot of fun, but when the caller said, change your partner, do-si-do, I threw my keys in the punch bowl. So now we have to change churches, and you know that with the underwear thing, my wife thinks we need to really leave town. So I'm thinking Florida or Arizona. Those places, if I ever embarrass her again, then it'll look like she's just got a bit of sun.
Yeah. Keep it going for Doug. Doug Maccabee. Show him some love for putting in that work. Writing a new 60-second set in just 2 weeks. Clean 60-second set as well. A lot of comics say they can't write clean. Yes, you can. There are certainly ways even dirty comics can write clean, my friends. And that is the whole goal of this contest. If you're not a clean comic and you want to learn how to write clean jokes, this contest is a great way to do that as well. It's just a great way to generate new clean jokes you can get booked with. Oh, love this. Positivity coming in. Jack Allen said, good job. Nope, Scott Shanahan said, good job, Doug. I like the outgrew these jokes. Jack Allen liked the outgrew these jokes as well. Sandy liked the keys in the punch bowl. Oh, did you? Woo! Oh, did you? Woo-hoo. Ed loved the delivery. Bob says, nice clean set, Doug. Way Rao, good set. Throw the keys in the fishbowl. Yeah, that was a good one. Coltona 45. This looks fun. Do you do more of these contests? Absolutely. Absolutely. We do them every single month. So if you'd like to participate, I did just put a link in the live chat. if you'd like to join next month's contest. We do it every single month. There's a theme for the month, and then you get 2 weeks to write a brand new 60-second set based on that theme. My wife and I pick the top 3 and then do this live stream to where the viewers will vote to see who wins the $100 and interview on Hot Breath as well. So yeah, go ahead and join while it's top of mind. Rebecca said I had to explain the Keys jokes to Scott. That is hilarious. Oh, Mark, I'm thinking you'll be finding a new church on a regular basis. Very funny. Maybe he's doing home church now. And Joan said, good job, Doug. Great delivery. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of good jokes coming in there. A lot of good jokes coming in there. So great job, Doug. See, I told you these contests, they're tough. It's tough to pick a top 3. And that's why we leave it to you to vote for the final winner. So we've seen Scott, we've seen Doug, and now we have one more, my friends. All the way from across the pond. That is going to be Jack Allen. So prepare yourselves. Take mental notes on Scott's set. Take notes on Doug's set. And now prepare yourself for the final finalist, Jack Allen. So then we will do a live vote to where you pick the winner. And then the winner is going to come on here live for an interview. Oh my God. It's so exciting. So, without further ado, my friends, you know how we do it here. Once I find the sound effect.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Your third finalist, Jack Allen.
I now have a Portuguese girlfriend, and her family are ecstatic that she's found a rich Englishman. This is a bit embarrassing, but what's Portuguese for I'm overdrawn? You know, the cool thing is her family teach martial arts, so now I don't just want to marry her, I have to marry her. Apparently it's still legal to sign the marriage document whilst you're in an arm lock. I do. You know, in Portugal, it's traditional to get married early in your life, which is good for me because I've never wasted any time getting into debt. You know, but if she comes to Britain, I'll utilise all my connections to get her a job, even the racist ones. Oh, sorry, Bob. You know you were saying about all those immigrants coming over to our country and taking our jobs. Well, I've gone and married one. Yeah, you couldn't give her a job, could you?
There we go. Jack Allen. That is your third and final finalist. Take note and give a... Oh, Wei Rao says, love your accent. Yes, give Jack some love. Share some of your favorite jokes in there, perhaps. And I'm going to post the poll. Oh, nice. To where you can vote. Wei Rao liked your accent there, Jack Allen. Mark Berryman, very animated and expressive. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. Joan loved the act outs. Sandy liked the act outs as well. Very original and personal. Great set, Jack, says Ed. Scott Shanahan, a fellow competitor. Great job, Jack. I don't just want to marry her. I know, so many good jokes in all of these sets. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. Bob Kirk, great set, nice act outs. Yes, indeed. Wei Rao, great performance. Look at all the positivity coming in here. This is so much fun. So what I will do is post the poll in the live chat to where you, the viewer, pick one. Pick your favorite to win and come on the show live today. We have Scott Shanahan, Doug Maccabee, and Jack Allen. So show them some love, even for putting in the work to get their sets to tip-top shape to make the finals of this contest. It is no easy feat to write a brand new 60-second set in 2 weeks. And then to make it clean as well. It's not easy. So shout out to everyone that participated, the 30 plus people that were in this month's contest. And hopefully we'll see even more in next month's contest. But Jerry Kroll, Jack's the man, great jokes and performance. Yes, indeedy. And the poll is live. The poll is live. Wait. The poll is live. So vote, 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 vote. And we will give just a few minutes here. Just a few minutes here for the vote. And then we're going to bring the person on live. We're going to bring the person on live. The winner. So go ahead and vote. Looking like right meow. Doug is coming in hot with 0% right now. I'm not laughing at Doug. I'm just laughing at I don't even think he's on the live stream. I think is what I was laughing at. So he's not even here to vote for himself, is what was really funny. But what we'll do here is we'll give it another minute. Let me see if I have a timer. There's a minute. I think a minute would be good because we have 29 people watching. 21 votes are in. Get your votes 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 in after all. Get your votes in after all. 30 seconds. Looking like this one is a runaway. Jack Allen, 32%. Scott Shanahan, 68%. 22 votes out of the 31 people. If you're watching this live, click for your favorite now or forever regret not participating in the best comedy contest in the world. All right. It's a landslide. Looks like with 69%. Ooh. 69%. Ooh. Oh, Scott's wife was talking about fish bowls, and now he won with 69%. Oh my heavens. Scott Shanahan. Very nice. We'll give it up for Scott there. Everyone show Scott some love. Yay! And what we will do now is bring Scott on live. I am going to release this interview as a podcast on Hot Breath. So if you're not checking out the podcast, go to Spotify or Apple or your favorite music app. I release weekly episodes on there. And what I will do is play his set again. I will do a official podcast intro. And we will bring Scott on live for an exciting interview. The gentleman who was the finalist the past 3 months finally broke the clean comedy ceiling. So congratulations, Scott, and all the people showing love in the live chat. And congrats also, of course, to Jack and Doug as well for putting in work. Great sets, everybody. So let me cue up Scott's set again. Yes. And we will do an official intro with Mr. Scott. Actually, let's just bring Scott on. What am I doing? Okay. All right. What? All right. What's happening? That's great. Scott's wife says Doug was funny. Absolutely. She's the only one that voted for Doug, actually, is Scott's wife. Cool. Let's bring Scott on, everybody. All right. Scott.
Hey!
Yay! Here, let me get your volume right. Speaking?
Okay. I'm speaking now.
Yeah. All right, that should be good. All right. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for voting for me. I'm really psyched about it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Officially welcome to Hot Breath, the winner of the April Clean Comedy Contest, Scott Shanahan. A finalist the past 3 months and now a winner. How does it feel?
It feels great. I was just thinking it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It was
Yeah.
Story. But to have won.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what we'll do is you won a landslide on our live finale. You know, every month we do this contest and then we do a live stream finale where the top 3 finalists show their sets and then the viewers vote, and you won a landslide today. So we should play your set for anyone listening to the podcast who wants a feel for the champ himself, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Cool.
My daughter's at that age where she gets embarrassed by me when I exist. She told me it embarrasses her that I flirt with her teacher all the time. She's homeschooled. She told me my clothes embarrass her. She wears the same hoodie every day. That's like if Keith Richards told you need to get sober, or Taylor Swift told you need to chill out on the relationships. She told me she gets embarrassed by the way I talk. Then she said, Skibbity Riz, Ohio. I don't even know what that means. One time I embarrassed her by calling her sweetie in front of her friends. She calls me bruh. She told me that she gets embarrassed by the fact that I joke around all the time. I told her, these jokes put food on the table. My wife said, that's the funniest joke you ever told. My wife gets embarrassed by me too, but when we show up at somebody's house and they say, make yourself at home, my pants are coming off. She told me that it embarrasses her that I talk so much during church. I'm the preacher.
Yes. Well done. Well done,
Thank
Scott. And anyone that wants to compete in next month's contest, you can go to cleancomedycontest.com. But Scott, take us through the set. I mean, the amount of jokes. There's a reason you've been a finalist every month this year is because of the amount of jokes. But kind of take us through what how do you write such a good set in 2 weeks? What's your secret?
Oh, I don't know. I just that's a good question. You know, you did an interview with Earthquake, and it's my favorite Hot Breath interview so far. I mean, and I love all of them, but that one is really, really good. And he said, and I kind of live by this. He said that comedy is a truth that becomes a lie. And so I just kind of think of things that have happened or could have happened or maybe sort of happened, and then I just sort of kind of extrapolate them or exaggerate them until they become funny, I guess. So, you know, my daughter got a little bit irritated with me because she actually likes it when I joke around, and she didn't really say that that she gets embarrassed by the fact that I joke around all the time. But one of her friends wasn't kind of like irritated with me for joking around too much, and so I kind of turned the truth into a lie, and then it becomes funny. So there you go. And that's one thing. I just kind of think about those things and try my best to get as many jokes in, as many laughs in the minute as I can. So
yeah. So the truth was that it's actually your daughter's friend that gets annoyed, but for the joke, you made it your daughter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I've heard. Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, wouldn't you know, like because the theme was me embarrassing my daughter just by being her dad, you know, and then and so like to say well, my daughter's friend got embarrassed, but you're, annoyed or whatever. That really wouldn't be on theme. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've heard Sebastian Maniscalco say sometimes the truth of his joke will be that, like, his neighbor said something to him, but he'll make it his dad just for the sake of the joke, because now it's more personal and it ties into other material he has. So you can always kind of bend life to for comedic effect. A lot of comics do that. So you're basically Sebastian Maniscalco is what I'm saying. So congrats.
That's right.
Yeah.
I am in Italy, and he's Italian American, so we maybe we'll meet up someday. I don't know.
Oh yeah, do you do shows out there? You're in?
Yeah.
Wow. You speak Italian?
I do. I do shows in English and Italian.
Wow.
And it's very challenging in Italian because it doesn't, like, my English stuff, sometimes I can translate it, but sometimes you can't because, like, there's little plays on words and stuff. And so so I do Italian shows. I haven't done one in a while. I've been doing more English shows lately. But because I'm coming to the States this summer and I'm going to be doing some shows, and so I kind of need to be in practice for English. So.
Yep, we're doing a show together on June 20th.
We are, yeah, in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, the theater, they went on sale, pre-sale this week. So once they go on public sale, we will be sure to let the Hot Breathiverse know all around the Atlanta area. They got to come see us in action.
Awesome, yeah.
It's very nice. It's very nice. I'm very excited about the show. It's at the Sandy Springs Performance Arts Center. It's the real deal. So, you win the contest, you may get booked, kids. So you just never know. But for your laughs per minute and how many jokes you're getting in, like how many, and by the way, the wife joke, my wife laughed, we always watch all the sets together, and the wife joke she laughed at the loudest, and I was like, oh, is that relatable? Is that what you're laughing at? But maybe what is your favorite joke of this set?
I kind of like the I guess the one that I liked the most was I told my daughter these jokes put food on the table, and my wife said that's the funniest joke you've ever told. I like that, and then I also like the one about she gets embarrassed that I talk too much during church, but I'm the preacher, and I would have liked to have, with more than a minute, that I would have extrapolated that more. I like that. I like that one too, and that one is not a truth that became a lie. She's never told me I talk too much during church.
Yeah, and I mean, the dinner one is the putting food on the table is the one my wife laughed at the loudest. But I cut you off there, Scott. What do you got?
That's funny. No, that's no problem. No, I was just going to say, the funny thing about this set was I actually filmed that. We were staying in a hotel on Monday night, coming back to our home city here. And I actually had to film that in the hotel bathroom. And I was really afraid that it would be obvious that I was in a bathroom, and that would get me disqualified, but I don't think it did, so.
By any means necessary. So your family is in the hotel room, and you're just in the bathroom saying sillies into your phone?
Yes, because I tried to do it in the hallway, but it was too echoey, and there was I could hear people in their rooms. And then I tried to do it in the car, but it was too dark, and so I had to go to the bathroom.
That's one of my favorite parts about the contest is just picturing people in their day. Like, it's like there's dads or moms that'll be doing this contest. And I can just imagine if growing up, my mom was just in her bedroom screaming at her phone these like ridiculous jokes. And then she's like, all right, dinner time. And I'm just like, what were you doing in there? Having a mental breakdown. And then you come out here in an apron like everything's fine. Like, it's just... it's funny to see people I picture their daily life versus them doing like comedy. It's just like it's like a Clark Kent and like Superman or something.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That was a unique experience for me this time. I was going to try to do it on stage, but I just didn't have shows that lined up right with it. And then also on stage, I'm a little bit. I did one of the contests I did film the set on stage, but it ended up going kind of way over a minute because there was pausing and stuff. So
Killing so hard. The laughter was so long, loud that you just too much. Yeah. Yeah. Most people just do like a talking head video, but some will like submit a stage set. It doesn't. I've had people ask me what's better. It's personal preference. We don't. If it became down to like sets, them being on stage wouldn't be like the deal breaker or the difference maker. It comes down to those 3 grading criteria we talked about at the beginning of the live stream. So, yeah, personal preference for people if they want to post one from stage or not. It's kind of whatever you want to do there. But yeah, the timing is different on stage versus when you're doing a talking head. Things can happen. You could flub a line or whatever. Because I know people will film 50 takes of their sets to get it right and within that time frame. So
yeah, this one I think I did I did fewer this time. I think I did 5 or 6 takes, but usually I'm up to 20, 30 takes because I'll it or something or something will happen. The phone a few times I'll set the phone up on something. This time I just held it in my hand, but I'll set the phone up on something and it'll fall. We have this pet bird that is like the loudest thing ever, and I'll be in the middle of a joke and he'll whistle or something, even if I'm in the room. So it can be challenging.
We need to have people in the contest Facebook group share outtakes. That would be so funny. Of just the freaking out or like almost to the end and then they flub a line and they're just like cussing at themselves or whatever. That would be so funny to see. Or the phone falling. Oh, that would be funny. Wei Rao asked if you always have smart twists and misdirections. How do you train for that?
I don't know that I always do, but that is sort of my preference when I write. I try to lead, do the misdirection and basically, I kind of always think, like, where would I think this was going, and now how can I change that? I don't know. In this one, I guess I don't know that I have that many misdirections in this one. But yeah, I just kind of like think, well, where would my mind naturally go if I were hearing this, and then, okay, so how can I do the opposite, or how can I surprise,
Yeah, so yeah, your sets are always packed with misdirects, and you had the church one, I'm the pastor, and like the homeschool. Right. So when you come up with, take us through kind of how you write one-liners. Because right now it's like, okay, this month's theme was embarrassment. So now that you have the theme, now where do you start? And then how do you end up with a tight 60-second set? Kind of take us through your whole creative process. Because you've been in the finals every month, so you're doing something right.
Well, so, yeah, I kind of, on this one, I started thinking, and actually, a lot of times I start, and last month I remember starting with one idea and then going in a totally different direction. This one, I was just thinking about things that have happened to me in my life that are embarrassing. And I have one story that it's funny, like at the dinner table, and I just don't know if it would be that funny on stage, which is that I went into the wrong bathroom at this movie theater one time, and that's what I was starting with, because I remember I went in there and I was like, oh, that's weird. I've never seen a men's room with no urinals in it before, and then. And then I don't like urinals, so I hate them anyway. So I was like, oh, this is great. This is my favorite men's room on earth. And it turns out it was the women's room. But so that's where I started. And about 3-4 days of working on that, I thought, I just don't know that I can get it exactly right. And so then I started thinking about how kids generally get embarrassed by their parents, and my daughter's pretty good about not getting too embarrassed by me, but I do embarrass her kind of a lot. We have certain rules that I have to follow, like at school drop-off and pick-up and stuff, to not, I started thinking about along those lines, and then I started thinking about different things that, that I've done or that I could have done. And then with my wife, that stuff was, I thought about the getting embarrassed by the jokes I tell, and then my wife saying, "Well, that's the funniest joke," you know. And I was like, okay, well, there's some things that I could say that maybe embarrass my wife, and I only came up with two. But I was trying to, like, in months past, I'll do, like, you know, in 60 seconds. It's kind of crazy that this can happen. I'll have like 4 different subjects in that 60 seconds. And I wanted to really stick with one. Okay, this is one thing that, you know, in this case, my daughter, for the whole minute, instead of like just jumping from subject to subject, even though I would still stay on theme of embarrassment. And so I got to about the 40-second mark, and I had a couple other ideas, and I thought, well, no, maybe I'll just shift to my wife, and then, and also I'm always thinking about my other sets and how I can connect them. And I don't know if you have noticed that, but in these months that I've participated in this, they're generally always about my family. So one of the good things about this contest is I have, like, I think I've done 4 of them. So, and then, you know, so I have 4 minutes that I've submitted, but it's all on family. So, like, if I do that on stage, it's not a 1 minute bit and then another 1 minute bit and then another 1 minute bit. I have a 4 minute bit that can connect. I can connect it all. And I've probably gotten about 5 minutes out of this contest, which is awesome.
Wow, very clever. Making it all on theme, and then each contest can kind of tie into the next. So you're actually building a set in addition to just like a contest submission.
Right, yeah, because I mean, that's one of the things I love about this. And I almost didn't, I was thinking about not joining this month. And I said, well, no, but it makes me write a full minute, you know. And and people, if anybody's watching this that's not a comedian, you wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a minute. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's you know, there's times where you might write, you know, 5 minutes and right away, like, you might be able to do it really fast. But then there's times where, you know, you're lucky if you can get a one-liner, you know, in a week, you know, so it's really, really tough. And so this contest has been really good for me, and I really appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate you participating and taking it so seriously. And that is something in, like, the contest Facebook group. The first week, people will be like, I have nothing, or what do we, like, usually it's kind of like pressure makes diamonds, and it's kind of like, it's an accumulation, and there's a compound effect of, if you just write a little bit every day, by middle of the second week, you start to find breakthroughs, and stuff will start to come together. And then maybe the day of submissions, you're still organizing stuff and you're still adding stuff. And as you do different takes, you kind of think of new ideas or different ways to organize the set. So it does have that compound effect of, you can overthink it and be like, oh, I have nothing in a week, this is a waste. Or if you just keep trusting the process, by the end of that second week, you're going to have a great set. No one really submits sets where my wife and I are like, yeesh, or like, I feel bad for them, or anything. Like, everyone is taking it seriously, and that's why I still do it, because I'm seeing the results from it, and people are taking it seriously, and that's very rewarding just to see as well. So I appreciate you taking this contest seriously.
Well, I love, so a couple of things I was going to say. First of all, I have never not recorded Monday afternoon. Like, I always think, oh, I'll record like Friday and get it done. And it's always Monday afternoon. I'm like, okay, I've got to get this done. Let me just settle on my minute, you know. And then the other thing I was going to say is, I actually love, I would say, you know, you said 30 or so people participate, and I bet 15 or so post their videos, about half, maybe a little more than that, post their videos in the Facebook group. And I love it. I love watching them. I don't know really how you narrowed it down, because I thought this month everybody was really strong. You know, everyone that I saw. And I hope that everybody, if any of the folks are listening that have participated, if it's okay to do it, I think we can share them in the main group, I think. And because I think Bobby said,
you could post them in there too. Yeah, for sure.
And, I think the other people who are in the group who aren't participating in the contest, that might motivate them to participate too.
Yeah, and it is tough to narrow it down. That's why we have that. The three criteria we look at is how on theme is it, how unique is the set to this comic, like how unique is it in their voice and their point of view, and then just how many jokes are in the set. And that is like kind of the guiding light when we watch 30 sets and then we still have 15 open. Like, oh gosh, how do we? And we it's like a gradual whittle down, and there's like debate. Like she's like, I know I like this one better. I was like, yeah, but there weren't many jokes as in this one, and that had maybe a few bigger jokes, but there were fewer, and they didn't really carry, and they didn't hold up the set. Or the first half was strong, but then the second half kind of faded. Like so those three criteria really help us to stay on task of whittling it down. Because yeah, it's not easy. Every month we'll have a handful, and we're just like, oh gosh, I slept on this one. Like we whittled it down to 5, and then I was like, I gotta sleep on it, and I'll rewatch it in the morning with fresh eyes, and was able just to kind of look at it through those three criteria and be like, okay, bottom line, this is the three criteria. These sets fit the best into that. But the goal is hopefully, like you said, people, if anything, even if they don't win or make it to the finals, they still have new jokes that they can do on stage, and that's the big winner for everyone there.
Yeah, and if you stick to that theme, not theme, sorry, stick to those criteria, you're going to have a good set, because I mean, obviously, if you have jokes, that's going to be good. But if you can make them, especially making them personal, and then making them funny, obviously is big. But that making them personal is really, really important. I actually had a joke stolen here. There was a guy that stole a joke from me, but it wasn't a big deal. It was actually more like a tag that I didn't love. But I heard him doing it, and I was like, man, but he changed it just enough that it was like, okay, it could be kind of generic. But I didn't love that joke anyway, so I said, well, he can just have it. So.
Yeah, and I actually used because some people will sign up for extra feedback on their sets when they submit their final one for me to give them a set review of. And I actually used, for one comic, used your set as an example, because they were asking about how to add, or like what would have made this set more likely to be in the finals, and it came down to like jokes per minute. It's like they had jokes, but they were too spaced out. And I shared your link, be like, here's an example of just like joke, like throughout the 60 seconds. So how do you, for like a comic looking to pack more punches into their set, what would you recommend, or how are you able to just like, it's just like tight jokes? How are you able to pack so many in?
Well, first of all, thank you. That's a huge compliment that you did that. That makes me, actually, I think that's even almost better than winning the contest. But that's huge. Thanks. No, you can edit. You've got to just like take out anything that doesn't help the joke. And when I first started, like everybody, I would have these long setups, because I just felt like, well, they need this information in order to get the joke I'm trying to tell. And it turns out you really don't. You just, with embarrassment, you should, in that first 10 seconds, you should be able to say something like, I don't embarrass easy, and then you could say, and this is stupid, this is off the top of my head, okay? But like, I don't embarrass easy. I grew up with an Irish Catholic mother. That's not funny, but it is a setup punchline. And so like, if you can just you can just write as many of those as you can. I don't embarrass easy. Why? Well, because of this, because of this, because of this. And if you write as many of those as you can, you'll have a joke in 4 or 5 seconds. And, if let's say you write 20, 19 of them will not be very funny, but you will get to one that will be funny. And now you do your next. And it's, and so for me with my daughter, I was thinking, okay, she gets embarrassed by me. Like, when? Well, at school drop-off, at school pickup, when we're with her friends, when we're with family. No, just when I'm alive. Just being alive embarrasses her.
That just kind of came to you as you were brainstorming other examples.
Right, exactly. I kind of thought about, I was like, oh, well, this is just everything, everyday life, And so, and then I changed it I changed it to from being alive. I changed it to existing. I just thought existing was sort of a funnier way to say it. And then again, it's like any time like I get embarrassed at work. Okay, now I don't have to say I get embarrassed at work. I'm a house painter. I've been doing that for 15 years, and or so, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need all that. Just what is it at work that makes you embarrassed, and just try to get it whittled down as best as you can, and that's the goal. And I know that when I look at my very first sets that I ever did, it's like, my goodness, would you just tell a joke? It's just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're writing a one-liner, you mentioned, I'd like to drill down on that a little bit more, because I think being able to write one-liners would really help people in this contest specifically, and on stage. I did one-liners for probably the first 5 to 7 years of my career. Like, I was all one-liners. So when you do write a one-liner, yeah, you said you kind of think about what I would assume about this, and then you misdirect it. Like, how do you, like, you have a setup, and then how do you get to like a funny twist?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's just the way my mind works. I actually would like to get into more stories and into more, into longer bits, because I do a lot of one-liners. And what happens is I'll write a one-liner, and then I just tag it and tag it and tag it, and then it's a longer bit. Because that's basically, like, even this one is basically, it's the one line and then just a bunch of tags, until I get to the stuff about my wife. But anyway, so I would like to actually sort of expand from that. But writing one-liners, one of my one-liners that does really well is it's already set up because people know I'm married, and so I'll say, I love my wife. She has one annoying habit: heroin. And and that one, I generally get a good laugh on it. And basically what I was thinking about with that was like, okay, well, I'm going to say I love my wife, but every relationship, no matter how close you are, there's something that drives you crazy. And I kind of thought about the word, I was thinking about some things that maybe she really does. She does not do heroin, by the way. Anybody watching this? And I was thinking, if I actually say something that she really does, that might hurt her feelings, so I better not say that. And then I thought of the word habit, and I was like, oh, a heroin habit. That, and so nobody in the audience is thinking she has one annoying habit. It's going to be heroin or crack or meth or something like that. You know what I mean? And so what's the most surprising thing I can say right now?
Yeah. So you'll you'll have the setup and be like, and then brainstorm, what is the audience thinking when I say this? Mm-hmm. Then you'll think of, okay, what's the most surprising thing I could say to like almost like misdirect, basically. You'll kind of list setups and then punchlines in that way. I'm trying to, like, if someone's like, how do I write a one-liner, I guess,
Yeah, so I'll do, and this time I did, I actually used mind mapping on this one. Okay. Which I've not done a lot of that, but if you know about it, it was actually pretty helpful to me. But yeah, I'll write, so again, for this set, my daughter says I embarrass her. What are some things that could embarrass her? And then what are some reactions I could have to that? She says she gets embarrassed by the way I dress. And, okay, she wears the same hoodie every day. Now, in her defense, she goes to a school where they have a uniform, and the uniform is a hoodie. So, it's they have to wear it. Until now, but and now it's getting warmer, so they won't be wearing that anymore. But anyway, and I was like, okay, so now let me write down. So what are these? What are reactions to that? And I actually had a bunch of analogies. I had one that was like, that's like. I ended up with Keith Richards and Taylor Swift, but I had that's like if a homeless guy told you have to get your life together. That's like if an illiterate told you you're an idiot, And I had I just wrote. I wrote as many of those as I could, and then I settled on those two at the end. And I'm not sure what made me choose those, but
nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm explaining the process very well, but the idea is to write as many of them as you can, and then choose the one that's going to be the most surprising or that's going to get the strongest reaction. I have another joke in my set, and this is kind of funny because I actually told this. I told. Wait, it was this. I'm trying to think if I'm going to say the one that I told him, but my father died a couple of years ago. It's actually almost 2 years ago this month, and he had a great sense of humor. And when he was like, and while he was dying, not to take a dark turn here, but I was with him the last couple of days, and I told him, I said, I'm going to tell this joke, and he thought it was hilarious. And so the joke is, my father died recently. We had him cremated, and we think that's what killed him. And that was, and he thought that was hilarious. And again, it's just not something you're expecting, you know.
Right,
and so,
right.
you know, what, and so again, it's just always, what can I say
Yeah.
that they're not going to expect? And so sometimes what you can do, write the expectation, you know, write like, you know, my dad died recently. I really missed him. I really miss him, you know, and then, what can I say that would change that, you know, so my dad died recently. I really miss him. You know, I loved him a lot because he paid my rent, or, you know, something like that, you know, like that was one that popped into my head just now. But anyway,
it's a good example.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. So yeah, just kind of like, and just think about like, that's a good way to do it. Like, what would be a real thing, like that earthquake interview, and then what's the lie that makes it funny, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's a volume game. Like you said, you know, you may write 20 and only keep one of them. It's being willing to put in that extra work to find the jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard, you know, I have a job, so I can't like spend 4 hours a day writing. But if you can just, anytime you get free time, you know, if you have, even if you're in the car, don't write in the car, but record yourself, you know, like when you're on your commute, just turn on, you have a phone, it's got a recorder, record yourself and think your way through the things and then listen back to it and then write it down when you can, you know. I don't know, I just thumbs up.
You did thumbs
I don't know,
up
can
and
you
it
see?
appeared. I wonder if that's a YouTube
Can you
live.
see that?
I saw that
so.
too.
Yeah, that was weird.
People on the
work for you.
podcast are loving that. They're like, wait, what happened on the video that we can't see? Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool though.
Yeah, that was it. So anyway, so try to find the time, and you know, if you want to get better, that's what you'll do, you know, even if you're working.
Yeah. When I had a day job, I would write during my lunch break. Yeah, you just kind of find and carve time when you can. That's why the Write 10 Club exists in the writing Facebook group at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Just have a nice little 10 minutes just to carve out of your day to just work on your comedy. So,
you know, I love that, has really helped. So my writing has improved. I stumbled upon you on your podcast. I don't know how I found it, but I stumbled upon it. And you had an interview with Jerry, the joke doctor, Jerry Crowley?
Yeah.
Corley, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that, and I watched his videos, and I got his book, and that helped me a ton. And then Write 10 really, really helped. Once I found that, and I started really taking it seriously and doing it every day, even though it's in 10 minutes. And I'll never forget the first time I won, and I don't remember the joke, but John Molehill commented and said, "This is stage ready." And he said, and he says, I do this every day, and I've probably added 5 minutes in the last year to my act just doing this.
Wow.
And he's right. I mean, I've gotten a lot out of it, and I can take them even if I don't win, and winning is secondary at this point. You know, I just want to do the writing, and and you can take them, and then you can build off of those too, you know, to get more time. That's what we're all after, more time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. And people have really enjoyed all the episodes I've done with Jerry and said they've been very helpful. And I'll link. Yeah, his book is a really good one. I'll link in the show notes for people listening to the podcast or on the live stream as well, because it's been a good resource for a lot of people out there just trying to get better at joke writing.
You know, it's funny. I was, I mentioned in my set, I am a preacher. That is true over here in Italy. And when I was learning to preach, I read all these books on it, and none of them were all that helpful. They all helped a little. And then I found this one that really helped a lot because it taught like a system for writing sermons, And then I read a ton of books on comedy. All of them have helped some, but Jerry Corley's, because he has like a system, and he talks about, I think it's like the 11 laugh triggers or the 9 laugh triggers. I can't remember how many there are. But, if you get that book, if you're serious about comedy, because it's expensive, it's one of the most expensive books on comedy out there.
Yeah.
But if you're really serious about comedy, get it, because it will help you a lot. It helped me. It changed me. And your interviews always, I mean, they always help me. They always motivate me. And I love it. I love the Hot Breath channel, and I'm really happy to be part of the Hot Breath fam. So
you're in the Hot Breathiverse. You're on the show, the same show as Jerry Corley and Earthquake.
That's right.
Look at you.
And Earthquake. Now, I've always been curious. Do you have, maybe you would be, you wouldn't necessarily want to say, but do you have a favorite that you've done, a favorite interview, or one that's been like the most helpful to you?
Oh gosh.
Maybe I should put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick one out of the hundreds. There's been so many. It's hard to pick. I mean, Mark Normand is probably one of my favorites, he's one of the ones that I've interviewed several times throughout his career. So like when he was struggling to sell out a club, to then he was like selling out everywhere, to now like doing theaters. So he's a good one, and he's a comedy nerd and loves talking game as well.
Yes, I really like that. His interviews that he's done with you are great, and I love that you got to, like, you said this to I can't remember. It was a couple weeks ago you did one that was another really good one. But you often get people right before they pop off, and with Mark Normand, I really think like you got to him, and then like within the next year he was everywhere.
Yeah. I think cool. I just said that about Derek Stroop.
Derek Stroop, that's what it was. Yeah.
Derek Stroop was the one who, he's about to be huge too. He's killer. There's too many. I can't pick a favorite, but it's a lot of fun to do for sure. It's very, very rewarding.
You're over 400 at this point, aren't you? Like, I mean, 450-ish maybe.
Yeah, I would need to look at the exact number, but yeah, I know we've had over 400 episodes. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's fun. Yeah, now you're one of them. So
there we go. I don't know how much time we have, but I have told you this before in a message, but I'll tell the Hot Breathiverse. The first open mic I did was in Atlanta at the Laughing Skull Lounge. It was on a Tuesday night. And I had some friends that were coming, and I was like, well, I want to like do it with nobody there that I know in case I like just embarrass myself. I'll drop out. So I went to this open mic at Cloud9 in Atlanta, and I signed up. I was the first one there. I was the first one to sign up, and they ended up not putting me on. But during the open mic, and for this. Don't nobody read anything into what I'm about to say, but it's a black venue. Most everybody there, most everybody on the lineup was black, but this white boy walks in and starts doing his thing, and it was hilarious. And I had no idea. I was like, who was that guy? And I made the connection several years later after I'd been in Hot Breath for a while, and it was you. You were the guy. I think you bumped me. I think like they could have one white guy on the show.
White boy Joe.
And it was you. So I actually saw you it's been like 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
that's old. I'm not doing that one. I did the next night and it went well, so I ended up doing it again. So
yeah, Cloud9 was a Monday night favorite. I would go there every Monday, And yeah, I mean, those are the type of shows those are the only ones that would put me on for several years, was those type of shows.
Good.
So I just went where I could get stage time. And there were several shows I sat through, like you said. You show up early, you're first on the list, and then they don't put you up. Or even worse, they'll be like, oh, I got you. Stay around, I got you in a few. And then they never put you up. Or I got you next, and then they don't put you up, and they say, oh, I forgot. Hold on, I have to put up so-and-so, and then I'll put you up. Or come back next week, and I for sure got you, and then come back next week, and then still don't get up. So those are all the fun parts of comedy that a lot of people don't see or talk about, or don't want to endure to actually become a professional comedian. But that's all part of the game. So that's so funny you saw me at Cloud9. That was so long ago. I used to go there every Monday, and wow, that is so funny. I'm glad it went well.
It did. You did great. Yeah, it was really good. And I remember you were like walking around. You, at one point, there was like this pole in the middle of the floor, and you like touched it, and you were saying something about, I don't know, you did something. I can't remember.
I used to rub the walls and do all sorts of weird stuff.
You were doing some weird stuff, but it was great. I loved it. And it's been a long time ago. And then here we are now, not quite face to face, but in face to face and not real life, virtually face to face.
We'll be doing a theater together in June. So
yeah, June 20th.
June 20th. It's gonna be exciting. So
yeah, I can't wait.
Where can people follow you or keep up with you and support you or ask you questions or just say, hey, this was a great episode?
So I have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Threads page. I don't have X or TikTok. I've never done them. I probably should. And they're all Scott Shanahan Comedy. Scott Shanahan Comedy, even on Facebook. I need to use that one more and my Instagram more. I do a lot on Threads because the way I write, where I write a lot of one-liners, it just works really well on that platform. I don't know if people even know about Threads. It's basically the new Instagram text social media or something like that. It's gonna eventually it'll be the exact same as everything else. That's how they always go. But I do a lot there. And I do some on Instagram, and I post some on Facebook. Always Scott Shanahan Comedy.
Great. Awesome. Well, yeah, Hot Breathiverse, go follow Scott. Go tell him you enjoyed this episode and compete in next month's contest. If you want to join and compete and write new jokes with other comics, you can go to cleancomedycontest.com, and maybe you can hear yourself on this show next month.
Maybe so.
But Scott Shanahan, I appreciate your time, buddy, and congratulations.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Have a good day, my friend.
You too. Bye. Hot Breathiverse.
Hot breath. There you go, everyone. Thank you all. That was a great interview. I gotta say. So thank you, Scott, for hanging out. Thank you again. Congrats to Jack and Doug as well for being in the top finals. Congrats to everyone that competed in this month's contest. It's so much fun to do, and it's so rewarding to hear feedback, like Scott said, to where he's writing jokes that he's doing on stage now, which is so cool. And to hear they love the community around the contest and everything. So I hope to see you in next month's contest. You know where to go, cleancomedycontest.com, to save your spot for the May contest. But alas, we all must get back to our Sundays now, my friends. But I appreciate you so much for hanging out in the middle of your Sunday and taking time to do this. And we will be back next month with another live stream finale. So until then, I love you all so much. And y'all have a good day out there. Bye, y'all.